Unified communications at the top level is really joining communications capability with applications. Sounds easy, but it really has spurred a whole new interest in how to drive productivity. So in its basic form, how do you get multiple ways to communicate? Instant messenger, voicemail, email, voice traffic. How do you put all those onto a seamless and hopefully single user interface that's accessible by multiple devices, whether they're mobile phones or PDAs? How do you get all of those together in a seamless environment, including video? And then how do you embed those and that communication capability into applications that really fuel and drive a business? So unified communications is the coming together of the communications media together and then applying them into business processes through business software and tools. I think the beginnings of UC, if you really go back, is you could look at automatic call distribution systems in their very earliest form. You had an analog telephone call come in, which triggered a CTI screen of customer information, and you married those two things together so an agent could talk to a customer knowing something about that customer. And in its most basic form, that was really unified communications. What's spurred it on and what's exciting about unified communications today has been a combination of enablers like SIP, Session Initiation Protocol, and the ability to use presence and a way to know where people are at various points in the network, combined with multiple ways to communicate with people. And then how do you pull those into an application and make them work? So what's exciting now is making the applications and the communications work in an environment that's now enabled by technologies like SIP, like IP telephony, and like increasingly architectures like SOA. Well, what's driving vendors to really go and drive UC, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of UC messages out in the marketplace. For Nortel, what's driving us is our customers, quite frankly. When we get out and we talk to our customers who have made the leap, particularly into IP telephony, now they're looking at how can I take this great technology and really turn it into real business productivity. And so unified communications is that next step. It's about taking those base capabilities and then really bringing out the value of unifying various pieces of technology right across a corporation. And we're seeing that where our customers are asking for that, and that's what's driving us to that. We've had a number of very good instances like companies like International SOS that have really benefited from unified communications and deploying it in their particular business. And we hear our customers more and more asking how to do that, and of course we're trying to meet their demands. Look, as we've gone out and talked to customers, some misconceptions they have about unified communications that we've heard are things like these. First of all, that they have to rip and replace their entire infrastructure in order to get some benefits or take the benefits of unified communications, and that could not be further from the truth. We have many customers with an install base that could still consist of analog phones, of digital phones, as well as some IP technologies, and we have a path to migrate and evolve those customers so that they can take and use the benefits of unified communications day one without necessarily losing the value of the investments that they've already made. And we believe that that's a misconception that we really want to make certain that our install-based customers and other customers with technology investments know about, so that we can help evolve them and move them at a pace that they want. The second misconception is this, the belief that the business case is written around the individual worker productivity. And certainly unified communications provides faster time to market, faster time to decision, but over and above that, the individual worker, it provides the basis by which you can reassess some of your key business processes. It's about improving process right across the company, so there's not just individual benefit but company benefit. And I think the very last one, which is that unified communications equals unified messaging. Your ability to see or hear your voicemail on your email, that is not unified communications. Unified communications is a much richer multimedia experience, tied to many more components than just messaging. So I think they're probably the three major misconceptions we hear when we're talking to our customers around unified communications. Where do I begin? That's a very good question as people assess and look at the benefits of unified communications. Let me answer that question in two ways. First, I'll address it from an infrastructure point of view, and then I want to talk about business process. So first, from an infrastructure point of view, if you're interested in unified communications and you've read about how it can provide you with some cost savings and cost benefits, productivity improvements, and you're really looking at, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to implement to make all this happen? You really need to look at a certain number of technology curves and plot where you are. So for the beginning, if you're like 80% of businesses, you're either going to be having Microsoft or IBM on your desktop, one of the two. Maybe 20% would have something else and something else generic. But that's a good place to start. Where am I on that curve of my desktop software? The second would be, where am I on my communications infrastructure? So do I have a voice infrastructure that's evolved from TDM through to IP already? Or am I somewhere in the middle of that adoption curve? Or am I still at the TDM stage of that adoption curve? And then certainly, last but not least, what does my underlying data infrastructure look like? Because you have to be able to think through, how can I evolve that to the resiliency that I'm going to need to be able to manage and deliver a unified communications environment for my company. So if you're an IT manager or a CIO or a leader, and you want to come at it from an infrastructure point of view, they're the sort of three components I would look at first as you start to engage and talk with someone on unified communications. On the other side, though, you could come and look at it from what am I trying to achieve within my business? So, am I time to market or time to decision making? Am I being beaten by my competitors? Do I have a very mobile workforce that are difficult to contact, or they find it difficult to use applications remotely? And then you need to look at, how can I marry up my communications capability with my applications infrastructure and really try and provide the organization with some faster ways to make decisions, some process improvements through mapping those capabilities together, and even more importantly for remote workers, the ability to access seamlessly through multiple devices the same sorts of applications that they would use if they were sitting at their desk, with utilizing capabilities like SIP to know where people are through presence. So I think you could analyze the need for unified communications in two different directions. Ultimately, they'll come together, to a decision to deploy unified communications to improve your business.